FYCoDcast, the Anni-Episode.
All right, what's up, everyone? Thanks for joining us for the Anni-Episode, however you want to say it. We're gonna talk about the roots of the podcast, and we're gonna talk to Tyson here and see what the heck is going on. So, 1 year, man. Did
Yes,
you think
one
it
year.
would ever happen? Did you think it was gonna happen? Let's just start that off.
Actually, I didn't know that it was gonna be this long. But it, but then again, that's how much I love Call of Duty, I guess.
It's hard to think about that because podcasts, it's like people watch them, listen to them, whatever the word is, or and then they don't. How do you do that? How do you get people interested in that? That's what I've always wondered, honestly.
That's that's actually the challenge of actually making the product of actually coming up with topics that people would be interested in watching or not watching, listening to it because the one thing I was clear from the beginning is that I did not want to make this video. It's strictly audio. Like for example, if you wanted to take it on the go, you could take it on the go. I at least was clear on that on that from the beginning, and it's a challenge. It also is a challenge because the topics there's not much to there's not much to go on when pretty much when pretty much the internet is my source and pretty much everybody has read it. So it also comes to the people that
I think it appeals more to people that don't read. Like I hate reading. I
mhm.
really dislike it. Like either it's a picture that has maybe four words that says something, or I listen to it, and that's what I do. Like I even just listen to videos. So that's why I kind of like the whole podcast thing a lot, and I'm really glad that you decided to do that instead because everyone's doing videos.
Yeah,
Everyone.
and to be honest, the whole video scene in Call of Duty kind of like, it really got popular with Modern Warfare 2, and then it went kind of downhill from there because Call of Duty and YouTube are kind of like so synonymous with each other, and
Well, because the game started getting worse, so less people. No, I'm not going to say that.
no, you
Um,
can say it.
but all right. So this started off of branched off of Tumblr, right?
Yeah.
So how did that whole the Tumblr fuck yeah cod thing go on, and then it translates into the podcast? Like, what happened in those pivotal moments?
To start, I should really talk about how I joined FYCOD first. It was actually Joseph that asked me to join because I kept giving him suggestions on how to improve the blog, and then one day out of the blue, he just said, "Why not join FYCOD?" And I was nervous because I was 2 years old on Tumblr, but then I never ever helped run a blog before, so I was kind of nervous. So I accepted the deal after some thought. Then it all started from there, and I I became sort of the unofficial news guy for the blog. I just started getting on Twitter, and since most of the news that Call of Duty puts out are can be found on Twitter first, so I became that guy that always kept the users up to date on the news, and eventually how did that translate it into the podcast? I think maybe it's because I just didn't had as enough time to
To type everything and
yeah
get it out, or is it just
yeah but it's also a nice way because back then now there are only like two big Call of Duty blogs on Tumblr that would be us and Call of Duty Obsessed. There's some minor ones, but um um I don't think Call of Duty Obsessed did news, so I went with that to set the blog apart. And I think it was 3, maybe 4 months later that I've been watching through Call of Duty Obsessed, and I keep seeing Arnie Main put his gameplay videos up on Call of Duty Obsessed, and and then a light bulb turned in my head. I should do something like that for the blog. But then I had to start looking at my skill set. Okay, so what can I do? I'm not gonna do gameplay videos because I don't have the hardware, or I don't think I'm good enough to show my skills to anybody.
Yes, I know that feeling. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm not good at Call of Duty at all, and people who play with me know that for a fact. But
There's different types of like Call of Duty people. They're the people who know the stuff and can't apply it, and there's people who just apply it but don't know how to like talk about it. They just do. They just know how to play, and then there's people who know about everything that goes into it. And that's you, man.
it's,
Like you
it,
know everything. I swear. It's disgusting. Like I don't even know how you can remember some of this stuff. You're like, oh, this software is working with this stuff, and these graphics are this, and I'm like, I just know that these people play the game, and that's how you play the game, and that looks cool. That's me.
but pretty much since I didn't have a sick gameplay to show, I wasn't a quick scoper, or I wasn't getting 55 gameplay, so I started to look at my skill set. Okay, so I've been doing news for FYCod at the time, so why not do a small segment covering those news and then give a personal opinion, because the news posts were limited strictly to say what was happening, but something inside me said that I wanted to talk about it a bit more. So that's where the podcast comes in. And then I started off with a pilot, and then it sounded good, but then when I go back to it and releasing it, it gives me a headache for some reason.
Oh, your
I
first
can
videos always give you a headache. Like
I,
when I do YouTube stuff, I look at my first ones, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I
I
doing?
can't stand just I'm known to do this in college, and I'm known to do this in this phase of the podcast. I can't listen to my old stuff. I just cannot. I just leave it out there. You people be the judge, something like that. As in terms of interest, it really did gain some interest. So I just kept doing it on that. There have been times where it wasn't as popular, but I just kept this going, because there's also a story that. Okay, so I just recently graduated, and my degree is in radio, basically audio stuff. So I also saw the podcast as an opportunity to expand my skill set when it comes to the audio stuff.
That's
Also,
really clever.
and also producing, making the script, finding the resource, finding the people that would do it with me, stuff like that. I'm basically everything to
You're
um
the entire production crew for this cast, okay? You are
yeah.
you are everybody as one. You just put on different hats,
Yeah.
okay?
And,
So
and, and,
like,
and it, and it
yeah,
also works because on the radio they're demanding people that know how to put different hats on. And back at
it's good. It's good experience. It's good experience.
yes, it is.
So did you have any like doubts about it? Like, were you afraid to do it, or like was there anything intimidating about like doing the podcast?
Intimidating as
Kind of like the obstacles, like not knowing what to do, or like not sure if it's going to work out. Like, did anything deter you from actually doing this? I mean, you made it a year, so obviously you conquered whatever it was. But behind the scenes stuff that the average listener is not going to know.
hmm I think let me just get this out of the way. Every time that I record a podcast, the first line, like the hello one, hello all, welcome to the Fuck Yeah Podcast. I I sit here thinking for about 5 minutes about how to conquer my fear, because I always get afraid when I hit the record button and then just go off in whatever the topic is gonna be on the podcast. It helps that I'm the guy that has a mindset of just do it, and no, I'm not promoting Nike. Um, uh, I'm the kind of person that thinks that hey, just go for it. You're already here, so just do it. And I think that has helped me to conquer my fear and just just keep doing this for so long, I guess. But true, there are times in which I have thought of is in I had my doubts over this whole year of the podcast, but like I mentioned, it's all about just doing it. I'm already here, so just do it.
That's really good though. That's a really good mindset because not a lot of people have that, and a lot of people end up failing at it. I've seen a lot of like podcasts like just die out because of that. Like they don't have that self motivation, that intrinsic motivation to just go out and just do it. Like F it, let's go. Like YOLO,
Yeah,
just YOLO. Doesn't matter. Let's go. And that's like
to be
perfect.
honest, I think the many people that fall into the trap of, oh, I'm gonna produce something and I'm gonna be hugely successful. I'm gonna be reigning in that YouTube money, baby. If you're going with that mindset, you're gonna crash.
Yeah.
You are going to crash, I, um, and if anything, I'm known for being tenacious. I still haven't made a profit from the podcast, but I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this, so here we are.
I'm in the same boat with my YouTube stuff. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But so I feel you. So like okay, COD in general, before we get into the good, like the good stuff, I want to know like why Call of Duty? Really? Like is Call of Duty like your game? Is it that the reason why you chose to stick with it and be a part of it?
Call of Duty is mostly the thing I chose to talk about because yes, I could have made the podcast in something else, but it was the thing that I was actively researching about, actively trying to know what was going on in the community and in the development side is like of things. So um, I could just I could make the podcast on something else. There's nothing research can do, but that would be one of the times in which I felt like this was pointless. I don't love this, so just throw it into the trash and let's go. No one will remember this. So I don't feel that way about Call of Duty. Even if this project if it was to end sometime in the future, I don't know. I would still like Call of Duty, and I would still research about the thing that happened, stuff like that. There's not really something particular about the whole issue, I guess.
So the name of the cast. How long did it take you to figure out to the fuck yeah codcast like codcast
It's
that that word I hate that word but that word where in the world like did Jesus come down and grace you with that word in your mind in a dream or something, or did you literally sit there and like write it out and plan it? Because I don't know, I'm not good with clever names.
it's a play on words, really. Because CODcast, you just join COD like as in the abbreviation of Call of Duty, and then add cast at the last. And it also helps that this pod only three letters, and then you replace those with COD, and then you got that abomination of the word CODcast. But it's catchy. At least that's what I thought about. That's what I thought about at the time, but now it's the branding of this whole project.
It's insane. It's insane how you come up with something like that. So how difficult is like the recording process? Is it really strenuous? Do you have to have like a degree in broadcasting to figure it out, or like what?
Not really, because I've only how should how can I put this? If
In
you
simple
know,
terms, in layman's terms, as easy as possible. Like, what are the elements? Like, how many programs you got to use? Do you got to have like a Mac? Do you got to have a desktop? Like, what are the requirements? Come on, because I don't even know. I don't
okay,
make podcasts.
okay. It's for people that know me, it's no secret that I use a Macintosh.
Woo!
At the beginning, I use and that's where Bish loves Mish actually helped me out because I was okay, man. So I had this idea. I don't know what I need to actually start it, and then he started to coach me, and then the first, I think it was the first 6 podcasts were made in Audacity. It's a free program that also does editing. You guys should check it out if you want to start your own audio project. And then the rest of the episodes up until today, until this very episode, I've been using Soundtrack Pro. It's an Apple program that's been discontinued for so long. I wanted to check because I was reading how did Dan Emmerich use what the tools he used for his own product, and then I stumbled across his name. Oh, hey, what's this? Then I decided to try it out, and I've, um, I've been stuck with this ever since. But you can also do it on a Windows computer, although I'm not the best person to ask about that. Although I do know Audacity is also available for Windows. It's open source and it tries to be on as many platforms as it can. But at least the podcast on the Mac side, I've recorded it with Audacity. I've recorded it with Soundtrack Pro. I tried to give Audition a shot, but my hardware couldn't run Audition, so I just erase it and say, you know what? Let's go back to Soundtrack Pro. As for what do you and what else like the hardware, the software besides it, I don't really think it's something you need a degree on. Just have interest in doing it. Like if you have interest, you will do the research on how to do it, and you will just put yourself out there, be subject to criticism, because that's the kind of things that we also had to endure during a creative process, I guess.
Okay, so promoting the cast, like, is that really difficult, or does it just come easy because you've got like the Tumblr to just like throw it out on?
I thought it would be popular because I throw it on Tumblr, but to be honest, most of the people on Tumblr, or at least the people that follow us on Tumblr, they do not care about this. They just care about the pretty pictures that they can reblog and stuff. So I started to make the transition of I mean, sure, I still promote it on Tumblr, but I do not expect as much traffic from Tumblr as I would have expected in the beginning, because I like I mentioned, I was trying to make the transition into Twitter. I get more eyeballs, if you may, over there. So promoting this is also a challenge. And while it's also kind of like promoting yourself without looking like a Me Too podcast. That's, I would say, are the most difficult things in the creative process behind the podcast.
That sucks. I mean, promoting is a hard thing to do because
It is.
you don't want to be overbearing, yet you want to get yourself out there. So it's just like you got to find the right thing that sticks. And well, you've done fairly well so far. We can only hope for like more. That's the only thing we can hope for more. So how do you decide, like, what's the decision making process in your mind when you're picking people for like interviews and news calls? Like,
Well, the process for the topics of the news call is I basically look back at what was discussed during the month in which are the com are the news discussed, and then I start to kind of like picking them out. Okay, do I feel strongly about this issue, or do I feel strongly about this other issue? While I try to be as neutral as possible, there have been a lot of topics that have been actively covered in the industry that I don't feel is appropriate to able to discuss on a podcast, because since I'm promoting on Twitter, I'm making myself seen to the developers of the product. So so there have been like maybe 15 or 20 topics that I thought about covering them, but I just thought, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. Let's just stick was uh with what was important on the month. As for the interview call, how do I choose the people that I usually choose the people based
Is
on
it
the work
popular?
they done for the Call of Duty community. Like right now, I have interview Prestigious Key, and I have interview Drifter. I also have some other people down the road, but I can't. I'm not at the liberty to say that just yet.
Yeah, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. They're not that special yet, okay? But like,
So
how difficult it was to get prestigious ski drifter? Like, did you have to like bribe them, or like,
actually,
just say, I'll buy you four games, the next four Call of Duty that come out if you just be on my podcast, okay? I'll
ac-
pay you $600. Like, what is that? Like, how do you make that work? I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly.
okay. So how I got Prestigious Key on the interview call, I think I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that Prestigious Key, alongside Andy Dorr, he was a production coordinator for Infinity War back at the time. They were the masterminds behind the interview call, because I was joking with them about the idea of, hey, what if I interviewed you for the podcast? And back then, about maybe October or November last year, the interview call wasn't a thing. And then I had a pretty good friendship relationship with Prestigious Key, and then we discussed some business outside of the podcast, and he jokingly said that, dude, let me be your first guest, and I'm like, okay, sure. Then with Prestigious Key, I did not had to have the formality that I take with the other guests. Like for example, Drifter, I did had to take the formality of sending a proposal. But with Prestigious Key, I just took about 3 days to research his channel, talk a little bit about that, and it was a good interview call. We make good chemistry, I guess. But then again, he's a commentator. He also focuses on entertaining. So I guess that part click. As to how I got Drifter, Drifter was one of the persons that I wanted to get at the time. Even though I disagreed with Drifter back when Modern Warfare 3, there was a patch that was released in Modern Warfare 3 that he basically calls it placebo, and then everybody in the community, in the Twitter community, starts raining down on him. Even the developers on Infinity War, and I was one of the bashers as well. But for some
You would.
reason,
You would be a basher. You would.
but I believe I did not burn my bridges with Drifter, because like back with the patch that was like June or July. Um, I always try to be respectful when giving criticism, and I did not. And so for that one Tumblr post that I said that Drifter is full of shit. I've been pretty respectful. I've been pretty respectful with the guy, and I asked Drifter via Twitter, hey, do you have a business email? I have a proposal for you, and then he like, I do not have a business email, but you can reach me out to my YouTube inbox. So that's what I did. I sent the proposal, and he said yes. Um,
Oh, it's easier than it seems. I apparently. I
what?
should just ask everyone to be on my flippin' YouTube channel now.
Well, it also
Oh, you want to
helped.
come take a video with me?
Even so, Drifter is pretty selective. I think since I came clear with the intention of doing a profile of your YouTube channel, that helped. Because I don't think people that have known him that have known him recently, recent subscribers or so, would be knowledgeable of where Drifter came from. So he saw value in what I would try and what I try to do, so he went for it. Um, and Drifter, at least in the research process, was really difficult because he has so much content. And back when you listen to the interview, you can see you can kind of sense that I'm graping for straws in things to ask him, but he's a nice guy. We still collaborate every now and then. If I'm pretty sure that I still haven't burned my bridge with him yet. So it's not like also it also helps that I do not ask for special treatment. Like for example, if I were another person, I would be asking, "Hey, can you add me to your Xbox friends list?" Or "Hey, can you follow me on Twitter?" Or "Hey, can you follow me on YouTube?" Um, I did not do that at all. All I wanted them to do, both Prestige and Drifter, is, you know, tweet the video or do whatever promotion method that you do to let your subscribers know that this is out there, and we're done. Because that's pretty much the secret. I'm not kind of like I'm not trying to not steamroll, but getting the back of their success and their exposure to try to make personal gain. Like for example, I played with Drifter before, but I don't care if he adds me. Um, but I can shoot the people, like, if they're YouTubers. I won't ask the only thing I would ask them is to use whatever promotional method they use to get the video out. Like, hey guys, I did this. I think you should guys check it out. But I do not ask him to or her, because I can rule out the possibility that I may be interviewing a female. I do not ask for special treatment. I guess in short terms, that's what I want to say.
That's good then. All right, so let's like think back to how in the world I came into existence. Like, I'm not even a popular person, and I'm like, sometimes I think about it, and I'm like wondering what the listeners think about, and they're kind of just wondering, like, where the hell did I come from? Like, did I just spawn and was like, well, I'm gonna be in your podcast? Like, what made you decide to choose me to be a part of this?
Back then, you were in FYCod, and then you were active doing the weekly crystal videos, and I thought, hey, maybe the addition of a girl would actually counterbalance this pretty well, and the chemistry ended up to be good, which is the only other thing I can market the product on, which is chemistry between the hosts. Um, I believe I was rather fortunate to have you, because I always felt you had a personality. And you always started to. Oh my God! I sound such like but but yeah. It was basically the weekly crystal videos, the fact that you were in FYCOD, and I think that's pretty much it. And then back then I did not know how often I wanted to do the podcast, and by some weird turn of events I lost you, and then I regained you back in the new year. Oh my God.
I regained you, and now we've come to conquer the world. The end.
We're like Pinky and the Brain, but
So true, so true.
I'm Pinky. Okay.
Oh.
Arf.
I don't even have words. I don't even have words for that. I don't even have
No,
words.
no copyright infringement was intended to be made to Warner Brothers, the holders of the copyright of Pinky and the Brain.
So okay, so what was your like favorite episode? Like what is one that you would actually like, go back and just listen to?
I think the episode number 3, the one I did with Mac and Orion.
Really?
Yeah, because mostly the since since I didn't had you for the other episodes, Mac and Orion were the other guys in which I felt we had chemistry going, and I actually
It's
asked
not the
them.
same. It's not the same. It's not the same as you and my chemistry. We work. We work. We were meant for each other.
But you were away. You disappeared.
I did disappear. I went AFK so many times. I hate it. I hate it.
So
But all right, continue.
so yeah, I actually asked those guys to come in the show again, but then I think Mac lost interest in Call of Duty, so he quit the blog, and by default he also quit the podcast. Orion, he's just laying there, and I don't know if I should say this, but I'll deal with this responsibility of it. Episode number 2, the one I had nominated for co-host.
Hmm.
That was one of the most boring episodes ever. If I wanted to re-listen to all the episodes, I would do my best
Someone
to not
not
listen to
listen.
number 2.
It was just like there was just nothing there. Like it was just like
No. Mostly because episode 2 felt like I was talking all the time.
well, you're supposed to talk all the time.
Well, but I'm looking for someone to counterbalance me. Like for example, yes, I know I can be chatty, but I can also realize that hearing myself talk for about 50 minutes is boring. So with a
Well, at
co-host.
least you know that. At least you have admitted, acceptance is the first thing to realize. You were boring. Okay, now we can move on.
So yeah, so that's basically it. I would like if Chris was more um what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe more involved, like
No.
actually engaging in conversation, because that's what I like. That's what I like in a co-host, and that's what out of all the co-hosts that I had, I preferred you and Mac and Orion. And I actually man so I think I already told this before, but I'm just gonna say it again. I asked Orion and Mac to come back in the future show, but then Mac left and Orion was like, ugh, fuck it. So I decided to just keep on jumping about a guess, which was rather unhealthy for the podcast, because it gave it a sense of uncertainty,
Mm.
and that's not something that you wanna show in a new product.
Well, I'm glad you decided to stick with me because I'm the best, and everyone else sucks because they're not as funny as me. No, but So speaking of funny, like what? Okay, if you is there like a really funny moment in the podcast like creation or any of like the podcasts that happen that just sticks with you, like something that's just so funny?
Definitely the prelude to Prestigious Kiss interview. He just started joking around. I had my face all red. He, like
We
I
should
think
have had a face cam for that one.
no,
Like, come on.
no. Like this is strictly audio. It's not like I asked the person like, "Hey, turn your webcam on." I am
Are
an
you sure?
old
Are you
guy.
sure?
So yeah, I believe Prestigious Key made this series of jokes to intend to me to calm down, but I was laughing my ass off so hard that. Uh, that I laughed like every 5 minutes when
You're
I was asking
laughing now.
questions.
You can't even stop laughing to explain how funny it was. You're laughing already.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But let's see.
Okay,
Another
I think the
fun.
funniest thing, I think the robot voice. That was hilarious. I think that was one of my most sacred moments from this freaking podcast is the robot voice. Please explain to them what that voice is, because I don't even know what that voice is.
Okay. Let me explain. It's because I have a USB hub that I used to connect the microphone into that USB hub, and then I guess that it didn't transmit enough power to the microphone, so it actually made that staticky voice, and then Crystal was so robot, and I'm like,
Like
okay,
every time.
and I was like, let me know when it's gone. Let me know when it's gone. I think the episode. I think on that episode that was number 8. Um, I think on that episode we had to I had to edit that out
Edit
like
so
four or
much. You'd
five
edit so
times.
much. No, because like in the middle of a sentence, it would be like, that's what it sounded like to me, okay? And I'm like, well, I don't know what to say. It's already messed up. It's probably not even recording right. So I'm just like, robot, Megatron, Megatron is back. Like,
Oh gosh,
oh my gosh, that was
yeah, that
hilarious.
was fun. That was fun.
So, is there any like future changes we're supposed to expect to the podcast? Like, are you trying to like go like all like, oh, it's been a year, let's revamp it, or are we trying to keep it to the roots? Like, what's the plans?
Technically, I made the revamp in the beginning of the year because at the like I went in the beginning of the year like in episode number 7 with a streamlined image, like I was using from episode 6, but and the others that came before that. I was really just all over the place, just using different stuff, different ideas, and with episode 7, I decided, you know what? Let's just go with a streamline image. These are the things that that I'm gonna use, and then and then I what was it? Oh yeah, I have a story. I have a story to tell about the guy who does the News Call voice. Originally, he was supposed to appear on the January episode, but I was worried about our compatibility because I'm a big Call of Duty fan. He's a big Final Fantasy fan, and for some reason, I didn't feel like he was too in with the move. So I decided, you know, Sam. I don't think I'm gonna do this. So yeah, sorry. But how did he made it into the news call? For, Originally I wanted a girl for the boys, and I have my girl in mind, but she's like hella busy. She's working at a media outlet for video games back in London. So I approached Sam with the idea, and he was like, "Okay, let's go for it." And then that's when the guy from the news call it started taking off. Basically, the revamp was already made this year, at the beginning of the year with a more streamlined image. Hopefully the same co-host every month. Um, but the, but yeah, that's about it.
That's good. So, all right. So, what are we expecting? Are we expecting more interview calls? And are they going to be like bigger names? Or like, can we get little hints out there? Because, I mean, I don't want you to give away too much, but you got to give a little teaser, like a little, just a little bit, just teeny bit.
Let's just say I'm contacting people um that if you were to talk about them, you'd know who they are. Um,
Oh,
it,
so
bec-
like popular people, like some like known.
yeah, like the known. Like I have a few interviews down the line and some ideas, but some of them I already made the approach. As a curious note, I already know who uh I already know the person that I'm gonna set off the year with. I still can announce that because that will be in December. Um, And I think coming up will be one of the most important interviews I've done. Mostly because I'm a
Or
fan of this
interview.
person.
Okay, so you guys got that. A fan, you're gonna know who it is, and it's coming soon. That's all y'all need to know. That's what I'm saying, okay?
Exactly.
I'm excited. Like he hasn't even told me some of the people that he's planning on. So I'm still in a mystery here too, all right? I know like maybe two. Okay, if I'm lucky, because he knows I'm a blabbermouth. I get really excited and really hyped, and then I like to talk about things, or I'll hint at it to the point where like it's obvious, and then I'm like, oh well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but people but people who know me
what's going on?
the no, no, I watch very little people on YouTube, and maybe they can figure it out, but I'm not announcing anything yet.
Okay, so no announcing yet. So, all right, and then so you started with the podcast. Have you ever thinking about doing other types of podcasts at all?
I have, yeah.
If so, like what topics like would you do it? Are you thinking about actually doing it, or is it just in your mind, just wandering? Because that happens a lot with me. I'm a dunce. I really am sometimes.
Well, there are some ideas that are floating in my mind of I do want to make something more um general, like in terms of gaming general. Um, as for other topics, then there's stuff that I would like to do, but then I will have to actually sit down and say, okay, so can we make this work? Can a podcast about this topic would work? And I could take months just thinking about that. Like my mind just goes around these ideas, just looking for every little detail and every little flaw that that would make me quit the project, or just say, like, this is not worth it. But yeah, I would like to make something more general, like not Call of Duty specific. Like the podcast will still be there, but as a creative person, I think everybody can agree with me with this. If you're a creative person, you just want to do more. Um,
Definitely. Definitely.
and at least on my mind at this moment, someday I would love to make a more general type of podcast. Although I have been involved into several of projects from the podcast. There's one from this forum I attend to, the Gcast, but then they're pretty much the host is a Nintendo fanboy, and I'm here like, okay, I'm just trying to say something here, and I don't know nothing about Nintendo, so I'm here like, okay, give me the topic list. There is no topic list, Tyson. I'm like, what? So,
What?
so,
I love how you said that.
so, so yeah. Basically, I have been involved in other projects, but myself, yes, I would like, and I eventually see myself branching out from only doing a Call of Duty podcast into more diverse topics.
I don't even. You saying that you actually want to do other podcasts with other topics makes me have butterflies in my tummy because I really want to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. But but I don't want to have to do all the editing that has to take for me to do my videos because I'm so busy. So it's like if you say that, I can be like, "Yay! So can I come in on this little episode and talk about this for a little bit and then like disappear?" I'm just like, "Please, let's do this. Let's do this."
Well,
So I just have to say like, I don't know.
you had direct line with me, so we can talk.
Oh, we can talk. Wow, I get that. I don't get it. Of course, I get it. We can talk. You see, guys, how he treats me? You see how he treats me? It's terrible. Okay, so all in all, it's been a heck of a year,
It is,
I
yeah.
think. And the growth of the podcast has been immense, and I think that everything has been changing for the better. The final thing I would have to say is like if there was like one thing you could do to change it or like to fix what had happened or like wish you could change in the past, what would there be any?
Maybe go into the project like from episode 1 onwards with a clear idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do Call of Duty back in the beginning, but I didn't know how I wanted to go about it. And then that brought most of my it's like this little rock in which you do not see on on the road, and you just kind of like trip it and you just go into the floor. I think the first phase of the podcast was like that. It was a learning experience, most of it. But if I had a chance to redo all those podcasts, I would go. Not sure if I would skip a month, but at least coming more prepared. Now that I pretty much lost the fear of the
That's
microphone,
cool.
I don't stutter as much. Although I still do stutter. But overall, just going in with a more clear idea of what I wanted to do, it would have saved me a lot of headaches.
That makes sense. It makes sense to me. I wish I would have said that too. When I do my YouTube stuff, sometimes say that. I'm like, I wish I would have had a clear idea of how to keep this going.
Well, people
Oh,
love it.
that's all the questions I have for you. I'm
Aw,
all out of questions.
aw,
You answered them all.
you're all out of questions. What? How can that be?
No more!
No.
No! Oh my gosh. But I hope you guys learned a lot and get behind the scenes stuff. I was very interested, honestly. I didn't know half this stuff. I was learning with you guys. So definitely tune in next month, right?
Yes, next month.
For the next podcast, and we will kick it off strong because that's how we do. Aight. Deuces!
See you guys.